Hello, welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, comment, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We would love to hear your ratings of the movies and shows we review.
Email us your audio file to recappingpodcast@gmail.com and we will play it during the show.
Or DM us on Instagram and we will post and read it on air.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you. Hi, Ashley.
Delora. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, girl. My mama is here. She is visiting me. I have her hauled up in one of the rooms while we record. But she's here in spirit on the podcast today.
Oh, well, thank you for her patience as she, chill while we record.
Exactly. I gave her a cocktail, so she's good.
Oh, nice. Daughter of the year.
Thank you. She's called me recently a really good mixologist, so I take that to heart.
Compliment for sure. For
Exactly.
sure.
Because she's old school too. She's like, don't make me a weak drink. And I'm like, I got you.
I love it. One of David's sweetest aunts, unassuming. I'm new, I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking, and I couldn't figure out what to drink. And she's like, oh, just have vodka straight. I was like, with nothing in it. Girl.
Is she Russian?
Girl. And then by being naive, I was like, okay, well, I'll just take some vodka. When I tell you it burned the hairs on my upper lip, I was just like, no, sis, but thanks for the suggestion.
And I'll tell you, I got tore up on some vodka one time. That is one liquor that I kind of stay away from unless it's in a mixed drink, because vodka, it's too much. It's like rubbing alcohol to me. That's how it tastes. That's what it seems like when it goes down.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, we have a lot of quick headlines, and we actually have a microdose this week, so I'm really excited. But first, we have to say happiest of birthdays to my favorite Leos, former President Barack Hussein Obama.
My forever president, okay?
And to the wonderful, courageous Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. Happy birthday. Game changers. Love them.
I would sing Ratchet happy birthday, but I feel like they too classy for that.
Way too classy for that one time for the birthday.
Girl, you know what's funny though is I will not lie to you. I think Obama gets down. Like I think Obama
1000%
down. Okay, I saw he had to scale back his birthday party because of COVID.
Did. Yeah, and these are major birthdays for them. President
40,
Obama's
60.
turning 60, and Meghan Markle will be 40 today. So both aging very well. They look amazing, and yeah, he had to do it for a saving face reasons, but because I highly doubt that he'll have a party with unvaccinated people, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Did you see
that
the
unfortunately
headline?
Becomes political?
Did you see the headline that Jen Aniston said she cut people off because of their vaccination
like
status?
We need more voices like this, because these are not games out here in these streets.
They are not.
These aren't games.
And these breakthrough cases are just killing me. Ugh.
Girl. Okay, well, again, sending much love and light to our faves, friends of the show, friends of the pod.
It's your motherfucking birthday. All right,
so in quick headlines. So this is like rapid fire. So I'll start off with rapid fire and then I'll slow down on the quick headlines. Congratulations to these boss chicks, Angela Bassett, the GOAT, okay? She has gotten a raise that's history making, because she'll be making $450,000 per episode, making her the highest paid woman of color in Hollywood.
Ever,
Girl,
Laura, ever.
I'm reading this from Yahoo Entertainment. Even Kerry Washington and Viola Davis were only making $250,000 an episode. Let's keep in mind the cast of Friends,
Yeah,
who made $1 million per episode, the
yeah.
cast of Big Bang Theory. Okay. So the fact that Angela Bassett is making $450,000 an episode is major for women of color. So congrats, sis. It is also worth noting that Viola Davis, towards the end of How to Get Away with Murder, was making about that much, but
The one
it's
thing,
deserved. It's deserved.
the one thing
It's
about this
overdue.
story,
What am I talking about?
no, it's definitely
overdue.
overdue. The one thing about this story that I was like, is that she is executive producer on this show. So I'm like, does this woman still have to hustle to pay herself? You know what I mean? I didn't hear about Kaylee Cuoco being an executive producer. Maybe she was on the Big Bang Theory.
Maybe towards the end, but
I'm just saying, do I have to hustle for my own coins too? That's all I'm saying. But it is amazing.
Girl,
Angela has never gotten her due justice, in my opinion, for film. Because as we talk about so many times, how does she not get an Oscar for
What's Love Got to Do with It? That will go down as the biggest snub in history, period.
It irritates me so much. But this is, kudos. And hopefully this is paving the way for other women of color. You know what I mean? Hopefully this isn't like a drop in the bucket, like Halle Berry winning Best Actress at the Oscars.
Exactly. Still the only one in over 20 years.
Ridiculous.
All right. Speaking of boss chicks, the Rihanna from Barbados is officially a billionaire. Okay.
Look at you saying her name right. Now I got to start calling her Rihanna as well. I'll still be calling her Rihanna.
Girl,
I know. It's not that.
Respect.
It's not that. I just have gotten so I just call her Robin. How about that? I'm just gonna start calling you Robin, sis. We calling you by your first name.
Robin Rihanna Fenty is reportedly worth $1.7 billion. This is according to Forbes.com, making her the wealthiest female musician in the world, second only to Mama Oprah, the Big O.
That is crazy. That is truly crazy. No wonder she hasn't released the album, Delora.
She's making her money.
Coins. She's been counting her coins.
All of them like Scrooge McDuck. Okay.
Jesus.
So again, how does she have all these coins? Fenty Beauty, Savage Fenty. She did have a high end line, but that has been paused. But sis is out here doing it real big out here in these streets, and I am proud.
Seriously. And she didn't even have to report on herself like the Kardashians. Look at you, boo. Look
Girl.
at you.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm not a fan of her and ASAP, because I'm like, why is it Rihanna with her gorgeous billionaire? And I realized she's the gorgeous billionaire in the relationship. So
exactly.
Congratulations, sis. All right, Ashley. Now we're going to slow it down just a little bit. The great Simone Biles made a triumphant return to the 2021 Tokyo Olympics by competing in the individual beam competition. She won the bronze medal. Now, for all those haters that are like, oh my goodness, she didn't win gold, she performed her routine flawlessly. It was the highest score that she could get because she reduced her dismount from the crazy twisty one that she does is named after herself, the Biles, to something that she's told Hoda copy, to a dismount she hadn't done since she was 12 years old. Now, if that's not a flex, I don't know. But as we all remember, she was dealing with the twisties, and this was the safest event that she was cleared to perform in, and she still medaled, making her tie with the great Shannon Miller with 7 Olympic medals. However, her medal count is a little bit more golden, Ashley, because she has more gold than Shannon Miller. So overall, Sis has 32 medals in her
stellar career. Yeah. I mean, and she said
Unheard
that her
of.
bronze meant more to her than all the gold just because of what she had to go through and push through and mentally get past to be able to even get out there and compete. I mean, I was proud, seeing her smile just brought me so much joy.
Ashley, I teared up when I saw that smile. You know how gymnasts do the hand in the air, before they start and finish, and she did that finish pose of that smile. Real tears. We're real tears. So proud of you, Simone. And it was hard. It's hard, Ashley, being a Black woman and hearing high-profile Black women being berated in the media for being human. It's hard. And so I find it interesting that everyone had these couch critics had a lot to say with her quote unquote quitting, which she did not do. They had nothing to say when she still came out from having this quote unquote break to still placing on being on the podium. You have any thoughts to that, Ashley?
I mean, Simone needs not explain a mother thing because again, she is a stellar athlete. She is the GOAT of her sport, and she did what she needed to do to be able to push through. And this may not be her final Olympics appearance. Obviously, we still have 2024 that she's considering in Paris. So I think that Simone being able to get past what she did just to be able to compete at all was a beautiful thing to see. I think that's literally what I have in my notes is beautiful. And just like you, I think because it's a Black woman, I take it very personally. So amazing. I felt like I was her relative. I wish I had been Hoda there, being able to cheer and watch and show that type of support to the team and to Simone Biles. And we'll see what you do next, sis, because you are amazing, period.
We're rooting for you, sis. All right, Ashley. Unfortunately, I have a bit of a downer. The baby, the rapper who unprovoked just tanked his career.
The age of 29, his career is done.
He's being dropped by every festival that he's attached to. I'm being
facetious though. I don't think his career is actually over, but go ahead.
I don't think so either. But if you're unfamiliar with what happened just a few weeks ago, unprovoked, as I mentioned, he decided to make some remarks about gay people and AIDS and HIV. And the reaction came very swiftly. He was supposed to be a part of the COVID super spreader event, Lollapalooza. They dropped him along with 8 other festivals that remains in this year. And I don't have any encouraging words for this young man because, again, he didn't have to say any of those things. And the things that he said were so dated and inaccurate that it just was gross. Ashley, what do you think about the babies, the situation?
I'm not a fan of this man, not because of this, but just not even in general. So when the story first broke, I was like, hold on, which one of these young rappers is this again?
Girl, like, why are there more than one rapper named Baby?
Yeah, there's Little Baby, there's Da Baby, there's Little Dirk, there's so many. So I had to look, I was like, which one of them is this again? And then obviously hearing his comments, like hearing the sound bites, I was like, well, that was reckless. Like, it surprises me that people still choose to say these things publicly. Like, I don't know what his shows are like. I don't know if
you have friends? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, like, who advised, like, was he on something? Like, who advises you to go and like just off the cuff, like say stuff like this, and knowing like what the culture is now, especially like it just surprised me. But then again, Delora, it's not like rap and hip hop culture has ever been perfect by any means. We're
still considered bitches and hoes. So
I mean, just saying, but I'm
not. I know me and I know you're not, but unfortunately, yes.
I mean, it was the reactions of some of the other fellow rappers that shocked me even more than this 29-year-old man, like Boosie. Boosie threatened physical violence against Lil Nas X in defense of the baby and in defense of homophobia, essentially. And I was just at a loss because, again, the idea that people not only really think these things, but still say these things out loud in 2021, almost 2022, is a little shocking to me. Now, obviously, everybody grows up differently. Everybody's on their own journey in life and education. I understand his statement of like, oh, I prefer that people, not I prefer, but he appreciates the fact that some people are coming to him more so in the wanting to educate him type of vibe and not in just an attack and cancel. Because again, I don't think he's going to be canceled. I think he's going to be, his fans are going to stick behind him. He's going to get past this, but I hope it's definitely a lesson to him and other rappers and maybe rap culture and hip hop culture in general, that like we're moving past this era of this type of recklessness and homophobia and everything else that comes from this type of rhetoric and language. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Ashley. Well said. Oh, and we're just going to go ahead and end on that note and head into our microdose this week. Ashley. Ashley. The dating hit during the pandemic, Love is Blind, came back. It returned with 3 new episodes. I was
waiting for you to text me about this show, by the way. Like the day you text me about it, I was like, I have been waiting for you to say something to me.
Yes. Ashley, I mean, let's go ahead and just talk about the original series really quick. Did you not love it? Because I think we all loved this freaking show.
I mean, I definitely got sucked in. The concept I thought was utterly ridiculous, right? I thought it was going to be another. I was going to be like, oh, this is going to be so superficial, like The Bachelor. Nobody's going to last. Yeah. And then we got the beauty of Lauren and Cameron, and I'm sold. I'm sold.
Girl, like their love is the only reason why I say we. I watched it with my husband, and then I would reach out to my sister and my mom, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they were so cute from then to now. Like nothing has changed in their dynamic. It's so sweet.
I love it. Oh my goodness, Ashley. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about a few things that needs to be talked about. Starting with what the actual fuck Damien. Okay. One of the couples, Damien and Nina, that's what we used to call her. He rejected her at their wedding, but they decided to date in these last 2 years. And Damien is on one Ashley. Okay.
He ain't cute enough for all this bullshit, in my opinion. He ain't cute enough.
Girl. And he comes off as an insecure man at the end of the freaking day.
He started his segment talking about his car. I mean, that's the epitome of an insecure man.
Absolutely. But the way she castrated him when she said, you ever wonder why you always say I'm the best sex of your life and I never say it back?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah. But see, that's one of those times though you think like, damn, we are so harsh. Like women can be so harsh with our words sometimes. Like that strikes a man all the way down. Like, you know how they say
how men were though, to be honest.
But think about it though. Men usually are hurtful with their actions and women can be very hurtful with our words. Like, I think that's very true. I think that's very accurate.
That's an interesting observation, Ashley. I've never really thought of it that way. So
old man said that to me. That did not come off my dome at all.
All right, so if you're wondering what exactly I'm talking about, Damien decided to bring this chick to the anniversary party that was being put on by the Hamiltons and the Barnetts. And we see G pretty much saying, hey, we're still dating, but we're not living together. We're not engaged. So their relationship was probably in limbo to begin with. But according to her, he was her man. And he's out here dating other chicks from other Netflix shows. Did you know that, Ashley?
I did not hear about the initial dust up of him being seen out in public with her. Then again, I've never watched Too Hot to Handle to see who this Francesca chick is. I Googled her after the fact. She was in a relationship from the show and then broke up and all this nonsense. Yes. So I'm like,
she was the reason why the pop was so low, because her and her boo were constantly all over each other. So she had a very sexual persona to begin with.
Oh, what she showed up wearing to the event that they had, I was like, you don't own a dress? But anyway,
where's your shirt?
It was one of those things with her popping up that I was like, is this set up by Netflix? Because this seems so strange.
Suspicious. I agree. I'm like, what is up with this cross?
Yeah, you know what I mean? A crossover episode.
Exactly. And someone alluded to that, saying, I think you're on the wrong Netflix show. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah.
And he even said it at their little lunch, like, oh, she's hot. Too hot to handle.
So on the nose. Yeah. So on the nose.
What producer is in your ear? Like, what producer is feeding you these lines? Because from our reality shows back in our day of like the heels and all of that, the producers were so heavy-handed. I don't trust any of y'all.
Oh, no. Not at all. I mean, the Kardashians. We don't even have to go that far back to the hills.
Well, at least some of the Kardashian stuff was epic, because when Kim and Kourtney just got into a fight, that was real as fuck. Like, can't nobody tell me Kourtney was like she was about to kill her sister. Kourtney was like, I'm done with your shit. But anyway, only reason why I watched that season, that fight hooked me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Ashley. One thing I realized about these new episodes also is the fact that I needed more Diamond in my life.
She was everything.
Diamond was the MVP of these additional episodes. First of all, she is hilarious.
She is.
For a Black woman, she is everybody's best friend, because the way, well, I'll get to that part later, but Diamond was everything. And she was looking real cute. Makeup, hair on point, outfits coordinated. I was like, come through, sis.
That was for you, Carlton. That was for you.
Exactly. And honestly, Netflix did her dirty that first season, honestly, because I mean, the wig was not in place. And, you know, her game wasn't tight. So anyway, very proud of her. Such a personality that we did not get a chance to see, because we only got her suffering.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. So she's still single out here in these ATL streets, and she is hooked up with this gentleman named Ramil. What were your initial thoughts on him, Ashley?
I didn't think he was going to be a serious contender, because when they did his, and this could have just been the editors being petty, but when they did his like only single interview, he was talking about her boobs. And I was like, this is not
in my notes.
A legit connection if this is the case. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm right, but I wanted it to work out for Diamond, because she was so excited and she wants to find her a husband, and you know.
Handsome, but girl, when he was talking about boob sizes, I was like, are we in high school?
Yeah, C cup and above only.
Are we in middle school? I'm like, sir, you have gray hair in your head. What else are you looking for in a woman?
He talked such a good game to her face. That's what bothered me too, was like, you're talking as if y'all are just on the same page, and you get outside and this is what you really like. This is what you really
real
want.
Conversation. Now, I will say the way they end up breaking up, was it that serious, Ashley? Because could she have just agreed and say, okay, well, this is an event that I did not spend a lot of time with, and maybe he does want to go, so he should go. And I think that is completely over. Granted, he also is a grown-ass man and doesn't need to be babysat. if he knew what was up. But
well, in her
think?
subsequent later conversation with Lauren and the other black chick from the original series who set them up initially, remember she said that she had never even heard from him again, so it was her reaching out to him to even come that night. So I think it was just like a level of rejection, like I'm the one who had to keep trying to get at you to even come tonight, and now you're here and now you don't even want to be here. So I think it was probably just like, obviously you don't have any interest, because she was like, well, if I had never even reached out to him, I doubt I would have heard from him. And that's probably true, because most men, if they're really interested, they're putting their best foot forward. Yeah,
absolutely. And what the hell is the Auto Spa Bistro, Ashley?
So
that's where they met.
That was very Atlanta. I was like, of course, y'all have a one-stop shop that is a car wash, a lounge, a eatery, all the things in one place. That's very Atlanta.
I mean,
I was waiting on the lights to dim and a ball to drop from the ceiling. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. All right, Ashley. So let's talk about Carlton's conversation with Lauren. Lauren reached out to him because she wanted to invite him to the anniversary party, right? The celebration. And the conversation was cool. She seemed to be, Lauren comes off as the type of woman, mind you, I love Lauren, right? She comes off as the type of woman that's friends with everybody, even if her friends are beefing. She knows how to be very neutral and maintain relationships. And so Carlton was essentially griping about how he's still struggling 2 years after the fact because no one's taking his side. The cast is too busy being the cast. And, he feels like he's fighting this battle alone. In this conversation, Ashley, he turns on Lauren so quickly and so fiercely.
Yeah, he needs therapy. He needs to deal with his own shit, because you did not help your case that you keep showing your ass on television like this.
Every time.
Like, this was supposed to be helpful. Lauren was probably like, this is helpful. This is going to help to, kind of clean up your PR from the first iteration of this. And you just showed your ass even worse, because Lauren, if you cannot get along with Lauren, you ain't going to be able to get along with anybody.
I was just about to say, she was his last lifeline on that cat.
He looked good though. I'll give him that. He looked sharp. He looked sharp that day. I will give you that, Carlton.
But he does not know how to fight. He does not know how to fight.
He needs therapy. I'm telling you, he has some issues.
When he does, he turns so hard on the person and goes for the freaking jugular. You know what I mean?
And then he contradicts himself, because at first he was like, I feel like nobody in the cast is here for me. Then it's like, well, F the cast. I don't care about the cast. It's not about the cast. Then, sir, what are we talking about? Like, that would frustrate me more than anything. Because, like, if you don't even know what you're saying, how do you expect me to understand what you're saying? I would not be able to have a conversation with them. I'm sorry. I want to have compassion for Carlton, human being to human being, but I can't find it. I'm looking for it, but I can't find it.
Exactly. All right, Ashley. Well, there's a couple of more things I want to talk about with this 3 episode. The 3 episode covered a lot of ground, and it was really, really good.
I still wanted more, so that's how good it was.
Same.
I was like, can I get like 6?
What was interesting for me is to see Messica in a new light, Ashley. I actually started rooting for the chick, okay? Like, she apparently has a new boo who's a foot surgeon, somebody I'm sure that is aligned with her, internal checklist.
Well, she caught me with the line. I'm not trying to run to the altar like a track star. I was like, hold on, Jessica, you're a little witty.
Yo,
I didn't know.
That is what I said too. I was like, I had no idea she had the range. I had no idea. But to see the women in that element was also really fun and refreshing. That lunch with LC and Diamond and G and Jessica, just to see the camaraderie. I really feel like we missed something, from the original season.
Yeah.
So she also talks about how apparently her and Mark had an agreement that they would not get married, but he decided to reject that and come off as the victim. I will say, Ashley, in his absence, Mark isn't looking that great.
No.
Were we bamboozled?
Yes, I think he's a fuckboy. I think he needs to go. I think he needs to go. If he didn't have a girl and a baby, I'd be like, he needs to be on F-Boy Island, because I think that's the reality show for that man. Because it really annoyed me to hear all of this from both Jessica and LC, because I really was Team Mark on the show. I was like, he seems so like emotionally intelligent for a man. He's there for her. He was
all manipulation
in sheep's clothing, Delora.
Girl. His age had nothing to do with it, because you remember he was younger than, Jessica.
Yeah.
So, I had no idea. No idea. What did you think about LC and her, hopeless? Like, she seems like a hopeless romantic. You know what I mean?
I hope she finds her person. I didn't like the narrative of her being the cat lady on the show and dating everybody in the crew, and you know what I mean. Like, I just feel like LC got a little bit of a bad rap in her cut, and I'm rooting for you, LC. I hope you find love, because you seem like you're a cool chick, and you can make light and joke about your pain. That's a wonderful thing.
Yes, she was very entertaining.
Yes.
Another star that wasn't really highlighted much in the original season.
And the fact that she's another LC, I was like, you should have been on the heels, because you would have rolled great with that crew.
All right, Ashley, there's two more things I want to talk about. This conversation, this is a continuation of the Mark conversation, okay? The disagreement between Amber and Diamond. Ashley, I don't anticipate talking much about the Burnett's. Besides, I do think they were a good match, right? I think they're good for each other. Amber, I realize I have a very complex relationship with her, because in one light, I'm happy for her and Barnett, but in the other light, her immaturity is just too much for me. Okay. Her defending her friend Mark and his fuckboyness was just something that and she stood her ground. Okay. She was like, we're all adults. We shouldn't make assumptions. I don't care if it's a pandemic. And you have Diamond and LC, and ultimately Diamond standing up for LC, saying, hey, he has to take responsibility for what he's telling people. What did you think about that exchange?
I felt like Diamond was holding herself back from really going off on her, because I think it reached a point where Amber, the facial expressions Amber was making, her posture in a different setting,
like she was trying to get it
in a different setting, she may have got some hands for real. Because my thing with it is I can understand the idea that Amber is saying that from her perspective and Mark's perspective, there was no real clear relationship boundary. But I think where she started losing me is this whole idea of, well, you should have prepared for the worst. What are you talking about? I should have prepared for the worst.
Exactly.
And from Elsie's perspective, she understands that that's your friend. So she's just trying to give you her perspective, right? It's not even like I'm trying to convince you one way or another. I just want you to hear the other side, because you're only getting one side of the coin. Whereas she saw it as like, you're wrong. The way that what Mark has done, he didn't do anything wrong. She even, to me, dismissed her by saying he's in a new phase of his life. He's not even thinking about any of this. Dismiss that woman. So I wasn't here for Amber, and that at that time I was like, see, I was with you because you were talking about you had a seizure and you worried about having a baby. I was feeling for you, but in this scene, she lost me completely, because I was like, oh, okay, I see how you roll.
Well, I'm going to be 100% transparent, Ashley. I thought I'm on Barnett's side when it comes to the baby conversation. This dude sold an entire house to pay for your student loan debt. Why would he want to bring a baby home with a roommate in an apartment? I am
1,000% on Barnett's side about them having a baby. 1,000%.
The immaturity came in. I'm like, sis, you're crying about having a baby. I don't blame him for wanting to at least not have a roommate when you bring a child home.
My thing with Barnett, though, is you're not being proactive in your choice, because he said that he's not actively stopping them from having a kid.
Exactly.
So
at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. So he's like, hey, if it happens, it happens. I don't think we should do it, but if it happens, it happens. He has an amazing smile, by the way. He catches me like. What's funny is, for some reason in my mind, it was like watching a high school reunion. So I was checking off superlatives of each person. Like, you would have been like best couple. You would have been best smile. You would have, for some reason, it was like so high school reunion to me. That's how I was thinking about the show. So Damien,
people have changed in 2 years, though. I mean, you know, Cam never looked better, but that's what happens when you got a good woman by your side. You know,
Cameron, the real MVP for me. I love that man.
Always and forever on this freaking show, because Ashley, I was screaming at the television when he was giving that speech to Lauren, and he could not finish it because of the tears. What did I text you, Ashley? What did I text you?
He's such a cancer.
He is such a cancer, man. Oh my God. I loved it though. I love, you know, I typically don't cape for cancer men because they're toxic. Anyway, I appreciate him because I feel like, you know, he has a little emotional intelligence to all the emotions that he has, you know.
He's such a sweetheart.
Such a sweetheart. And Lauren just takes it. And I love how she's like borderline awkward, because I'm not gonna lie, I love the relationship because it reminds me a lot of my husband and my relationship. He was entirely like, oh, I love you. And especially in the beginning, oh my God, all he wanted to do was hold my hands and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, oh, PDA.
Yeah.
I feel like Lauren is that every time.
Well, and even their dad's relationship was so cute. Remember, her dad came in and was like, my best friend, give me a hug, best friend, to his dad. Yes, I was like, oh, even the families love each other. That's beautiful.
Such a beautiful, beautiful way to end this particular microdose. My last question to you, Ashley. Did you miss Nick and Vanessa Lachey?
To be honest with you, until you just said that, I didn't remember they were missing. So I guess that's a no. I don't think the show needs a host. You know, it's not at this point. Like, this wasn't a host-driven thing.
It's Lauren and Cam. If they do, it's Lauren and Cam, period.
I mean, Lauren
because they've gone through the process. Exactly.
Lauren is hosting other things.
The way she showed up in that purple dress was like, I have arrived.
Bomb.
And the last thing I was gonna say, Diamond, I love Diamond so much. The way she walked over to Lauren, and Damien was literally less than 2 feet away with Francesca. I'm like, this is what every Black woman does. We sit up, we find each other. We don't care if the person is behind us. We're like, do you see this mess right behind me?
Exactly. It's like, if nobody else is going to comment on this foolishness, I guess I'm going to have to. I'm absolutely that friend. I would have went up right straight to Giannina and been like, sis, do I need to go take off my earrings? Like, what's happening right now? Because this is too much.
Do I need to call an Uber? What's going on? Because that was some unnecessary mess. And I know I said that was my last thing, but 2 more things. Kenny found himself a woman. So happy for him.
Yeah, she's a cutie too.
Cutie, and they look so good together. And Kelly never looked better. And I'm sure she had to come correct because she was very much still single. So.
I'll take that dress any day. She looked beautiful.
Yes. Is there anything else, Ashley, you'd like to say about this microdose?
That's it. I enjoyed it. I hope we get another show from them. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this episode, Ashley.
Yay. This was our first new format attempt, guys. So on Tuesday, next week, we are dropping our recap. It is going to be Resort to Love on Netflix. So be sure to tune into that before you tune into us, or vice versa, whatever floats your boat. But thank you so much as always, and we'll see you next time.
See ya. Thank you. Bye.